Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out Yihyun's solo 4, and I was told after I watched the cover that Yihyun and Jiu did for Angel to Me that Yihyun's solo may be a bit jazzy. And as someone who loves jazz music as much as I do, and obviously Yihyun's voice is just gorgeous, I am unbelievably excited to get into her solo. I'm still a little bit sad that this is going to be like the last solo that we're doing for a little bit, but it's going to be amazing. Like, I just know I'm going to love it. I knew that I was going to love all of them, but it was always a bit of a surprise bag about where we were going to end up in terms of genre. And then this one, I'm just like, yes, it's going to be amazing, and I'm so incredibly excited. So of course we're going to be checking out the lyrics, production, vocals, fully breaking down the song first, and then watching the special clip. It's gonna be good, and I'm so excited. So let's get into analyzing the song because I can't wait anymore. So let's get into it. Moment of truth. No. Okay, that little bass moment right at the beginning into the piano with some percussion. No. I'm already in love. So that guitar line there, and then that little like chime sound. Already the instrumentation is so much fun. Darling, please call me with your voice. No. I know I've had moments where, like, I know that my brain has malfunctioned multiple times while going through their solos. I understand this. There's just something about Yihyun's voice. Oh, the way that her voice came in. No. I actually don't have words. Darling, please call me with your voice. Softly. Love the layers. Tickle my ears and heart. No, okay, I love the layered vocals that are there too. I really like how we're pulling back on the production when she's coming in to sing. The way that she sang Heart, like that little melody there. Ugh. Like it's a very like jazz thing, and I'm saying this because, hi, hello, if you're new here, I have some background in singing, and my main genre that I sing is jazz. So this is just me kind of like geeking out a little bit. I love jazz music. I love like the history of it. I've done like a bunch of research into like how the music, like the vocals of that music style work, and I find it fascinating because it's very much dictated by like the technology and stuff at the time. Anyway, I'm geeking out. But one of the characteristics of jazz music or music of like a traditional pop is hitting your R sounds really hard. So you really dig in to those R sounds as opposed to lessening them or kind of rounding them out. I feel like with a lot more modern styles, you'll either drop R sounds or you'll soften them because it is a really hard sound and it can kind of trip you up while you're singing, especially with some more modern styles of singing, whereas with older forms of music you had to really hit that particular pronunciation because you would lose like the diction a lot of the time just because of how like microphones worked. So you wanted to hit those harder sounds so that you could make sure that you were getting the right diction in, and it was going to pick up on the mic of what you were singing. So I love how she really kind of like, she dug into that R sound in Heart, and then she let it kind of fall off with the T, like, and it's really good too for someone who is coming from a language like Korean, because in Korean it's different from English. She's speaking English here, but in English, how can I say this in a way that isn't like super convoluted? Hi, hello, if you're new here, I'm also a linguist. I have a degree in linguistics, so I'm going to geek out a little bit about how sounds work in language. Bear with me, I swear I'm going to get back to the song. In language, both L's and R's are called approximates, and this is because the way that you shape your articulators, so all of the things in your mouth that make speech sounds, you can do it in a lot of different ways. So we just call them approximates because people pronounce them differently. Even people who are like twins. You can have a pair of twins who's grown up in the same environment, in the same language setting. They can pronounce their L's and R's differently in terms of how they place it in their mouth, just because of how L's and R's work. So in a language like Korean, a lot of the time you'll get a mixing of kind of an L and an R characteristic mixing together into a singular sound, unlike English where you have very distinct differences between L and R sounds. Those are two different letters in the English language, whereas something like Korean, you get in Japanese as well, those sounds will kind of come together with both features of those letters. So having someone who's coming from background of speaking Korean, I know that she can speak English very well too, so that probably is assisting with this, but being able to hit that R sound the way that she is impressive. That's what I'm trying. That was a really long-winded way of me talking about a single sound in one word that she says. I geek out about music, okay? Sometimes it just, something takes over me. I'm going to take a drink of water and then we're going to continue. I swear, I'll just stop talking.
Please call me with your voice softly. Tickle my ears and heart. Morning to night, holding you tight here inside my mind. My eyes are only for you.
Okay, I love the drums coming in. I love drums in general, but I love how we're getting those drums kind of building up. I also really love how she's switching from this place of having a lot of closure with her vocal cords and then softening up. I've noticed before that she has a really good job of switching between those two, of having that softer sound and then that more compressed sound. And she just kind of alternates beautifully between those two. And I like how in this one she's using the softening of her voice to accent specific words in the phrase. When she wants to emphasize something, she softens her voice and she kind of rounds out the sound. So it feels like, I'm trying to think of a better adjective, but I'm just gonna go with, it feels like a caress. That's what it feels like, where she kind of is softening up on those specific sounds and words to really emphasize those specific parts of the story. So I like that.
Here inside my mind, my eyes are only for you.
Lots of closure, and then on you, softening up.
Look up to the sky, so forget.
When I tell you that little vocal run had a full body effect on me, you could probably see it in my face. I'm sure I just made the weirdest facial expression. I love the effect on it, where it's kind of this like echoey sound. It almost sounds like she's in like a theater or like a big stadium, like a stage and stuff. And she's just really soft. Oh, okay.
Look up to the sky, so forget. I'm still reaching for the memories that I faded. On the radio playing our favorite song. Say the things that I need. Wish I could hear it from you.
Oh, okay, so many things. One, I love how she's digging into that dark, rich part of her voice. It's very like, kind of an R&B sound, right? So it's also kind of pulling from that kind of music as well, which of course jazz and R&B have some crossover in terms of like influence and stuff like that. So I love how she's, because like 3 different voices that we've had, and yeah, just reaching into that to really, you know, put something different on the little pre-chorus, but also just letting her voice do those little vocal runs, those little accents on specific words. It just sounds gorgeous. And then we have just a lot of really nice compression in her chest range right on that line leading up to what I'm assuming is going to be the chorus, which really like pushes the momentum forward in the song, just hitting strongest on you, again emphasizing that you in the storytelling. Ugh. See the progression of compression. Love it. Okay. I love kind of the playfulness of it. I love how she's doing these little slides, and there's something very playful about it. I feel like I'm coming back to cheeky, which was a word that was used to describe her in the This Is videos. But she's just letting her voice kind of play around, and it's kind of floating from all these different parts, and it's just too good, you know? Like, I feel like I'm not putting together proper sentences because my brain is just like, I don't need to explain it. You can hear this. You can see my face probably making some weird expressions. You know that I'm enjoying this. Love this build up.
Wish I could hear it from you. Baby, please don't leave me. This night is long and lonely, so put everything aside. Honey, am I drunk? Baby,
Her vibrato
don't
too.
leave me. Only you can make me feel so alive. Take all of my love.
Oh, that head voice. Oh, God. It's fine. Breathe. We can survive this. I also really love how she's elongating certain vowel sounds, and she's not necessarily doing it in the way that you usually would. So most of the time when you want to elongate a vowel, you're going to pick an open vowel or like a rounded vowel. So that's your O's and A's. Or you could probably even see with my mouth that I'm opening up a lot more as opposed to something like an E or an E, where you're going to be closing up your mouth a lot more to make those sounds. So usually when we want to elongate a vowel or we want to have kind of a big moment in our vocals, we pick something that is more of a open and rounded vowel because those are a lot easier to resonate. But she's picking things. There's one, I think maybe it was she said aside, where she elongated that I'd part of the word instead. So she's picking really interesting parts of words to emphasize and elongate and play with, and I just really like that. It's very stylistic, and a huge part of jazz music is that stylistic way of singing where you are kind of jumping around in melodies and stuff like that. And I want to hear her sing this live also because I want to see if some of the improvisation of jazz kind of comes through, because she seems like she's just playing with her voice a lot in this song, but obviously it's a recorded version, so she's practiced, she's recorded a bunch of times. There's a little bit of a whole process to making the song sound like this in the end, whereas part of jazz is improvising different things and playing around with your voice a lot. And I would love to see if she changes some of what she does live, because that's part of how the genre works. But I'm suffering a little bit, especially when she went into her head voice at the end there. It's fine. I'll just breathe. Breathing is the most important part.
Only you can make me feel so alive. Take
The little walk up.
all of my love.
Sure, just do some vocalization. And it sounds like almost like an old radio too. I love the snaps. Oh, the guitarist too.
Slowly coming winter with the snow. So tightly, let's hold our hands. Star in your eyes, sun in your smile, the way you
Oh, that was a little cry. So one thing that I have noticed in her voice before is she likes to use these little cries that usually happen. They happen near the end of phrases a little bit, because the way that cries work is you're kind of tightening your voice, which sounds like the wrong thing to do, but most of the time you don't want tightness in your voice. But if you're using it in a tactical way, you kind of work up to tightening up around your voice box and then loosening it, and that's how you get that crying sound. That the release part where you soften up is where that cry sound comes in. And I haven't heard her really use any of that at this point. It's been very smooth, which I feel like fits with the genre very well. But I like that as we're getting into this second verse, she's adding in a little bit more of, I think, what is characteristic of her voice more regularly. Again, I don't know her voice super well. I'm still getting into learning their voices, but it seems to me like she's adding those little bit of textures that aren't traditional to the genre. Like, you wouldn't get cries in jazz music if you go back and listen to some of it historically, because it just wouldn't work on the microphones that they had at the time. If there was a cry in the song when they were singing, it was because they had too much tightness and they were singing live and they just had to accept that that was going to be in the recording now. So I like that she's kind of bringing in some of those more modern techniques into the way that she's singing, because like I said, she seems like she's playing with her voice. So part of that is just doing lots of different things that are part of the textures of your voice without kind of boxing yourself in too much. So I think that was the first time I've heard it though so far, unless I just got distracted by something else. That on Smile. This part though. The pre-chorus though, there's something about it that just affects me. And also, I was literally just thinking, I'm like, I feel like I'm a little bit in love with this song. Like, you ever had a voice crush? I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, I think that's where we're at. And then she was like, love me more. I'm like, if you insist, if that, she's asking. And who am I to refuse? Sure, I'll love you more. I'll put in the effort, I promise. I'll give you all the hugs you want. Oh, I love that layer where it was like slightly out of sync. Like, it wasn't like the two vocals were like right on top of each other. It wasn't quite like a harmony though, but it was nice. I love that.
Looking for your shadow. Where are you?
Oh, okay. Love the piano. Love piano in general. I talked about this in Hot Dog's solo as well. And I love how she just worked down into her lower range and then really dug into it with that "Where are you?" of just going into that darker, deeper sound of her voice. I talked before about how I really like how her voice sounds when she goes into that lower range. Just beautiful. I can't say enough good things about this song.
Under the moonlight, looking for your shadow. Where are you? In this fairy tale, it's up to us how it ends.
Ooh, even that note at the end with ends, where she started off later and then she could hear her like grip into the note and kind of use more of like her diaphragm and stuff in it. It's good. Oh, beautifully done. Oh. Piano and drums though. I know it's about to end, but you can't scat at me. You can't do that to me, Yuhyun. I've just gone through all of this with the jazz and the beautiful vocals and the switching up of the vocal techniques and the vocalizations. And now you're going to scat at me? Okay. I do love the instrumental of this though. I do love that she put that in though, to just cherry on top of doing all this jazz stuff. Okay. Look, I was warned. I was warned that this song was gonna affect me, that I wasn't ready. I was given warning because I feel like people might have been a little bit concerned for my health going into this without some kind of warning, and I appreciate that. I don't know what I would have done if I had walked into this blind. I'm not okay. I cannot tell you how many times I'm going to listen to the song. I realized that most of it was in English. Am I going to learn how to sing it? Absolutely. Yes, immediately. Probably would, if it had been in Korean, I would have figured out how to sing it. I would have learned. I've learned songs in other languages before. I would make an effort. Yeah, no, everything about this song, perfect. Absolutely everything. I would change nothing except that there's a special clip. And I'm so excited for there to be a special clip because that means I get to watch her while she performs the song, which is the only thing that could make it better. So let's just get into the special clip because we're in too deep now. You can't start with ornate classical literature either. What are you doing to me? You just put up hardcover versions of literary classics. I'm already in love. You don't need to do this to me. Just go. Oh, I love how we have the like kind of suit, the movie posters too.
Darling, please call me with your voice. Softly tickle my ears and heart.
Okay, why is she so flirtatious with it though? Am I reading too much into it? Am I too far gone? That I'm like, stop flirting with me, even I'm seeing things that aren't there, but also I feel like you don't need to do this to me. I'm already in love.
Please
I love the pearl earrings too.
with your
Very
voice.
classic.
Softly tickle my ears and heart. Morning to night, holding you tight here inside my mind. My eyes are only for you. Look up to the sky, so far can't see. I'm still reaching for the memories that I faded. On the radio playing our favorite song. Say the things that I need. Wish I could hear it from you.
The microphone stands too.
Please don't leave me. This night is long and lonely.
Okay, so I like the microphone stands that are happening here. I like that she has the dancers with her too, but the fact that it's set up like old live performances of like jazz traditional pop where you have like the main singer and the people doing like the harmonies, but there's like that little bit of choreo with it too. It's too much. Keep going though.
I need. Wish I could hear it from you. Baby, please don't leave me. This night is long and lonely, so
I like that she has a gold mic stand too. She's definitely being flirtatious. I'm not reading into it.
Only you can make me feel so alive.
How am I supposed to interpret that? Ma'am? I'm trying not to make a fool of myself. I'm on camera for the internet. You can't just blow kisses at me after everything that's already happened.
Leave me. Only you can make me feel so alive. Take all of my love.
With a wink too. She knew what she was doing.
Slowly coming winter with the snow. So tightly, let's hold our hands. Star in your eyes, sun in your smile, the way you look
Cute.
at me. It makes me hum and I call it love song.
I do love the use of the like spinning chair in that choreo though. Like not only is it very classic, it fits with the decor and the sound of the song and stuff, but it adds that kind of playfulness of like going around it. but also having like that distance between them too, which I feel like fits a little bit with this feeling of in the lyrics of saying like I want you to love me more, and like I want there to be, you know, something more to this because I feel all these really strong things. And then also going into kind of the classic films and stuff that are in this, and classic romance stories and stuff where there would have to be that distance between people because that was like proper and things like that. So I like that there's lots of different aspects that they're pulling from like the genre, and then pulling from the storytelling of the song and stuff with the actual decor when she's not coming for me. You know, I can focus on things like that when she isn't, you know, looking at me the way that she does.
On the radio playing our favorite song. Show me what I need.
See, when she looks at me like that.
Let me more, ooh. Baby, please don't leave me. This night is looking low, so put everything aside. Hug me and I draw.
I like the flowers.
Baby, don't leave me. Only you can make me feel so alive. Take hold of my
I
love.
like little kick. It's cute too.
Sometimes under the moonlight, looking for your shadow. Where are you? In this fairy tale, it's up to us how it ends.
I love that. Oh, we're gonna get some dancing. Okay, well, I love the like red curtain and the spotlight with the mic stand and stuff. Very like classic stage performance and stuff. But I also like how the dancer comes in and kind of like sweeps her away, right? Like this feeling of kind of running away with this like feeling and this romance and stuff like that of, you know, whatever this joyous feeling is, whatever she might want to, whatever instant she wants to put onto the symbolism of what she's talking about, of like kind of being swept up by this feeling, whether that's romance, whether that's love for something specific, whether that's joy because she's doing a specific thing, whatever whatever her intentions might be for the song. I really like that, but it looks like we're going to be getting some dancing, which, yes, please.
Fairy tale, it's up to us.
Like some partner dancing. I guess there has been dancing, but partner dancing. The little heel. Good spin. Oh. Oh. That was so cute at the end. So I think it's pretty safe to say I loved that song. I'm going to be listening to it a lot. I loved the special clip too, where it just had this very classic musical film feeling to it. I saw that there were some like specific films that were on the posters in the background, a lot of them that I've seen. I love classic films too, but I specifically love classic musicals, and just had like this very like nostalgic, but also it's almost like this simplified kind of love for something. And like I was saying about how it doesn't necessarily have to be about like a romantic love, it can be just like getting swept up in like a feeling, in that feeling of love or joy or whatever it might be, and getting kind of swept up in it. And I like that she's kind of pulling on this genre that is from, you know, a time where things were kind of portrayed as simpler. You know, whenever we think of like the romance stories of like classic films, it's always more simplistic than we see it now, and it has this kind of fairy tale feeling to it, like she said in her lyrics. So it's kind of like letting something be simple, right? Letting it be, I love this makes me happy, being in these emotions that make me feel so much better about life and what's going on and who I am and stuff like that, and letting it be simple and not letting things overcomplicated and stuff like that. And yes, everything about it. I'm going to be watching the clip some more. I'm going to be listening to the song. I'm probably going to learn how to sing it because I just have to. It's too perfect. I feel like I'm sad that we're to the end of this introduction little series that I've been doing, but what a note to end on. Like, just perfect, like just beautiful little punctuation at the end of it before I get back into their discography. So I hope that you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so miss next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!